Okay. So, good morning one and all. So, in last class we have discussed regarding water supply, drainage and solid waste disposal concept. Okay. In that we have discussed in detail about the methods of removal of impurities, okay, and what all the techniques are there to remove the bacteria. It might be a physical particles or some chemical inert particles or some bacteriological activities of water. Okay. So, in conjunction with that, in today's class we are going to concentrate on three major bits, that is completely related to waste disposal systems. Okay. In that, the first one is solid waste management and the second one is types of collections, that is nothing but completely related to solid waste, how the solid waste collection process takes place and how the disposal process as well as the treatment process takes place. Okay, that part we are going to discuss in detail today. Okay. So, coming to the first one, solid waste management. First we need to decide solid waste management concept. Okay. So, what is solid waste or solid waste management? Before going to start with the management, first we need to understand solid waste. So, solid waste is nothing but the garbage arising from human or animal activities that is abandoned as unwanted and useless is referred to as the solid waste. Of course, the name itself says solid waste. So, the waste from human, animals and our day-to-day activities within our surroundings. So, what are all the garbages we are going to in turn depute towards the atmosphere, that entire process we can call it as solid waste. So, how to manage that solid waste, because nowadays solid waste management will going to play a huge inconvenience towards the growth of city. Okay, in majority of the metropolitan cities they are facing such a problem related to how to manage the solid waste. Yes or no? So, solid waste management process is nothing but the process of collecting, treating and disposal of solid wastes, right. It is not only disposal concept or not only the collection concept. So, management is nothing but it is the process in turn consists of how to collect the solid wastes, okay, from industry, from household activities or from organizations, from institutes. We can categorize number of buildings into their requirement. So, each individual building will in turn generate some wastes. Okay. We need to categorize the solid waste and liquid waste, okay, that is garbage, sewage, etc., etc. Okay. And we need to categorize them and we need to collect them. That collecting process also get involved some ideas how to collect it. Okay. Once we have collected the things, then we need to treat it, which is not supposed to directly leave that entire waste to atmosphere directly. Okay. So, we should treat it. Okay. For example, if the volume is in a huge manner, then we need to minimize it by compacting them or by giving some pressure, so that we need to minimize the total volume of that entire solid waste get collected. Okay. So, that is the process of collecting, treating and disposal of solid waste. We need to dispose it. Okay. In majority of the cases we are using like for some manure, as a manure we are using some solid wastes, okay, for agricultural purpose and all these things. Okay. So, we need to concentrate these three parameters in detail, then only we can say yes, the solid management or solid waste management technique is good, or we have adopted some solid waste management techniques in our surroundings. Okay. So, that is solid waste management process. It also offers solutions for recycling items that do not belong to garbage. Okay. So, we should always think not only the disposal part, okay, if possible, is there any recycling or reuse technique is there, or if you adopt some recycling process, is there anything get developed from that particular waste, that also we need to concentrate in solid waste management. Okay. So, coming to the stages of solid waste management, basically it consists of 4 stages. So, stage 1 says waste generation. Okay. So, stage 1 we need to concentrate, of course the solid waste management in turn consists of 4 stages, right. So, stage 1 says about waste generation. So, we need to separate it out, the generation process, because we should not supposed to say always the entire waste is going to dump in same yard. Yes or no? Even in household activities nowadays, even corporation members also they are saying often related to the separation of wastes. We should separate it out the wastes. Okay, solid waste we need to separate, liquid waste we need to separate, okay, wet waste we need to separate. Like that they are going to announce it. What is the purpose behind this? So we need to first categorize the separation of that waste, because the treatment technique for solid waste as well as for liquid waste will not remain same. That's why we need to separate them, right. So first we need to understand the generation process, how the wastes are get generated. Okay. So with respect to the generation process, we need to categorize them. Then the stage 2 says about reduction, reuse and recycling. Okay. Reduction, reuse and recycling. So the third stage, second stage in turn says about triple R, I can say, reduction, reuse and recycling, right. Reduction, right. Of course we have come across the waste generation processes. These many kg of or quintal or ton of waste is get generated from one city or one ward or something like that. We have already categorized it. Okay. Then is there any chances to reduce the waste to get generated? Do we have to adopt some activities or some techniques so that waste generation process itself is going to be reduced by some extent? Even it reduces by 5% from each individual house or from each individual residential area, definitely it will very good progress, I can say. Yes or no? So we should think about reduction techniques. Is there any reduction phases are there? If your answer say yes, then you can adopt it. Okay. Then the second, of course, within that we have a second condition, that is reuse, which you are not supposed to directly throw it to some what you can say, which is not supposed to throw the waste directly to the garbage yard. First we need to think it, is there any chances to reuse it for any other work or any other purpose. Okay. It might be for agricultural purpose, or it might be what you can say for dumping, or for filling up some gap at particular work or at particular field. Okay, we need to think in that way first. That is reuse concept. Then recycling. Is there any chances to recycle it? Okay, if these three processes are not going to happen, then I can say yes, that waste is completely useless. So I can next throw it to the garbage yard or collection process or collecting tank, where the corporations or development authority will going to collect it and they will send it to the next level of treatment. Okay. Then the stage 3 says storage, collection and transfer. So stage 3 says about storage, collection and transfer. Okay. So once the second stage is completed, of course, if 10 kg is going to generate from one individual house for a week, probably I can say. Okay. So within that, is there any chances to reduce some 5-10% amongst them, so that I can minimize the production of waste? If your answer say yes, of course you can reduce it by 5%, not a problem. Is there any particular point is going to be reuse? If your answer say yes, let us reuse it. If not, nothing to worry. Is there any chances of recycling that entire waste? If your answer say yes, let's recycle it. If not, it goes to third stage. Then the third stage, first bit is storage. Yes, we need to store it in a separate yard or separate specified area. Okay, it might be of solid waste or garbage or sewage. Okay, depends. Even if it's industry, there are different categories are there. If it's hospital, there are some different collection process are there, or storage devices are there to collect the waste. Okay. Then collection, of course. Okay. Usually we are come across some household activities, so that one person will come along with the cart, so he will pick up those waste and he will in turn dump it, then he will bring it to somewhere else. That will in turn reach to the collection process. Next, treatment process, I can say, that is collection. Then the third one is the transfer. We need to transfer them from one place to another place. Okay. That is the third stage. Then the fourth one is treatment and disposal. So the fourth stage is treatment and disposal stage. So, the fourth stage is treatment. Once that entire process is clear, we have collected it, we have, for storage we have decided, then we have collected it in a proper manner, then we have transferred it to main yard, then from main yard to the treatment plant, okay. There we need to treat it, okay. Then we need to treat it, then we need to dispose it. So, these are the basic 4 stages get involved in solid waste management, okay. So, in continuation with that, the next bit is collection process, okay, types of collections. So, as we already know, types of collections are broadly classified into 2, okay. One is the primary collection, primary, and this second one is secondary collection systems, okay. So, the name itself says primary and secondary, okay. So, primary, in primary collection process, right. So, the collection of waste from the point where it is placed by the person or organization that has produced it. For example, our house is the best primary collection area, I can say, or primary collection yard, okay. Initially, of course, in our house, of course, solid waste generation process takes place, okay. That is the starting point, okay, where the person or that particular organization or institution or industry or some building, I can say, okay. So, where the waste is get generated, so we need to have the collection process at that point itself, that is primary collection process, okay. So, what about the secondary now? So, the name itself says collection of waste from number of primary collections and is taken from the transfer station to the final disposal site. Yes, secondary, that is the next level, okay. Primary collection is clear. Secondary is from all primary sources, okay, some person or some group of persons or some team members were dedicated to collect those primary wastes from each individual organization or each individual house in a specified cart, okay, and they will in turn transfer it to treatment plant, okay. So, that is secondary collection process, okay. So, in primary collection process, there are different equipments or collection devices are there, okay. We will discuss one by one, okay. So, the first one is wheel and borrow. Yes, we can observe in this figure. So, wheel and borrow type of system. So, it is suitable for taking waste from household to a communal collection point, and this system is good for narrow and well maintained street surfaces, okay. Then the second one is hand cart. You can observe in this figure hand cart. So, additional wheels makes it more stable than the wheelbarrow, right. These types of hand carts can carry a large volume of 1 to 2 cubic meter, okay. Then the third one, cycle cart, okay. Cycle cart has drop down side to make the loading and unloading easier. Of course, as the generation move towards the advancement in technological revolutions, of course, even collection of waste also get improved in day by day, okay. In ancient days, in olden days, they will prefer a manual means to collect the wastes, but nowadays everything is automated, okay. Even for collections, even for storage, for transfer, everything is interdepends on some mechanical means right now, okay, right. So, the third one is cycle cart. It in turn suitable for steep hills, okay, and it can collect up to 3 cubic meter of waste. Then the next one, next figure says tractor, okay. So, it can collect up to 4 cubic meter of waste and convey up to 20 kilometers, and it has much higher cost than the other two methods. Of course, while maintaining a tractor, it seems to be difficult because we need to depend on some fuels, okay. We need to bear some fuel expenses, okay. Then these are comes under primary collection processes, okay, or within the yard, within the ward, we can collect the wastes, okay. So, coming to the secondary collection vehicles, okay. So, in that, so the first one is enclosed light truck. You can observe in this figure. So, a weight collection tripper box fitted to a conventional vehicle, right, and this is useful for emptying street side litter and communal residential waste bins. Okay. Then the second figure says truck fitted with bin lifter, right. So, a robust vehicle that can travel on rough roads, then this vehicle is suitable for transferring or collections from communal bins. And third point, these trucks without bin lifters are not recommended due to need of manual loadings. Okay. Then the next figure says about flatbed crane truck. Okay. They are useful for collecting waste from transfer stations, markets and industrial areas, right, and they fitted with its own crane for loading and unloading purpose. So, you can clearly observe here how the loading and unloading process takes place. Okay. Then the next equipment is compactor. Okay. So, the name itself says compactor. Along with the collection, it will in turn press it and it will in turn compact it. Okay. So, this is a hydraulic compaction equipment, not suitable for residential waste. Of course, it is only suitable for collection low density waste in a large quantity where road conditions are not good. Okay. So, these are the different types of collections, that is primary as well as secondary.